back to Kardec Radio for Teens. It's incredible to think that this is the 10th show. I feel like I've been doing this for so long, but I also feel like it was just yesterday that I started, so it's really amazing to know that this is the 10th show we're doing. I owe it to the people who have given me this opportunity, and have helped me along the way, and have made this possible for me. I'd like to thank them for all that they've given me. So thank you very much if you're one of those people who has helped, and I'm sure you know who you are. So now we've come to a very exciting time of the year, summer vacation. It's a time that all of us were looking forward to, getting through those last few weeks of school, finishing off the school year, getting ready for the next grade that we're going into, having time to relax and just have fun. Summer vacation is the time that we all look forward to. We all look forward to that rest, to getting away from school for these 2 months or 2 months and a half. But the problem is that a lot of us, we fall into this tendency of doing nothing all summer long. We go to sleep late, then we wake up late in the morning. Sometimes we don't even wake up in the morning. Sometimes we wake up at 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. And then when we wake up, we just mope around, we do nothing, we stay in our pajamas, we watch TV, and we're just lazy couch potatoes, and we do that over and over again. And then our summer turns out to be not that fun, and then before we know it, school's back, and we feel like we've done nothing. In the winter, we just long for summer where it's vacation, there's no school, but then when summer's actually here, we're like, oh, it's too hot, I don't want to go anywhere, I just want to stay inside and watch TV in the air conditioning. So, to just freshen our minds to start off this show, I'd like to put a quick little message about the changing seasons and how we should view that and look at that. Changing seasons. To be interested in the changing seasons is a happier state of mind than to be hopelessly in love with spring. Cold weather helps us appreciate warm weather more, and warm weather helps us appreciate cold weather. With a change in season, there are so many things to anticipate. During the course of a year, we watch trees change from bare green to orange and red, and gold to brown and black, and back to bare again. Then there's the miracle of budding and greening all over again the next year. As I enjoy the changing seasons, I can enjoy the changes in my life. So that's relevant to what we were just talking about how the season's changing, it's getting really hot out, but we're also changing because instead of having a routine of going to school every day, we have so much more freedom, especially if you guys can drive. Like, I know this is my first summer driving, so there's a lot more stuff you can do. You can just get the car and go. And there's so many things that we can do and that we want to do. And usually before the summer starts, we have all these big plans and all these ideas and all that we want to do. But then sometimes we fall into that habit of just doing nothing and waking up late and watching TV, playing video games, and sleeping. And that's it. And we don't put in any physical activity. We don't do anything to help one another. We're just doing nothing inside. The more that we do nothing and that we're lazy couch potatoes, the lazier and lazier we're going to get, and the harder it's going to be to actually do something productive. Say we're coming home from school, and then we have homework to do, we do that. Maybe we have a job, we go to that. We want to do something with our friends, we do that. We manage to fit in a lot of stuff because we're already in the routine of, okay, do this, do this, do this, and we're already active, so we can stay active longer. But when you're lazy, think about that Sunday or that Saturday where you're just lazy in bed, which isn't a bad thing to have once in a while, but think of that day. And when to do any little thing, it's just such a struggle. You don't want to get up. You don't want to even go to the TV to turn it on. Whatever it may be, we're just so lazy to do any little thing. But that day that, even if we didn't want to do it, the day that we had to do lots of stuff, we find the energy to do it and to keep going to do more and more stuff. So the lazier we get, the harder it's going to be to actually be able to push through and get something productive done. So this one's going to be a quick little message called Keeping Busy, which is going to really outline a lot of the things we're going to talk about in the next couple of minutes. So, keeping busy. Look at a day when you are supremely satisfied at the end. It's not a day when you are lounging around doing nothing. It's when you had everything to do and you've done it. In our too busy lives, a day with nothing to do sounds as if it would be heavenly. We could stay in bed until noon, read a book without interruption, watch television for hours at a time, or lie in a hammock listening to the buzz and hum of life in the backyard. Usually, though, if we stay in bed or read a book too long, our legs start twitching to get up and move about. There's never anything good on television, and our back hurts when we try to lay in a hammock. What can I do that will make me feel like I've accomplished something in my free time today? I don't have to paint the house or tune up a car. Going for a walk, baking a loaf of bread, or washing the dishes can be enough. So this is really relevant to what we were talking before and to points that we're going to get to in the next couple of minutes. When we look at the beginning, we're talking about how we're comparing the days that we do nothing and the days that we do everything, which we already kind of talked about before. And also, one important part that we're going to talk about from now that on is that when you're accomplishing something on your free time, or when you're staying active or doing something, it doesn't have to be a lot of effort. It doesn't mean you have to go work out and run a mile every day. It's just little things, going for a walk, baking something, doing some chores around the house, running some errands really quick, and that can make the difference. In the summer, we end up with a lot of free time, and most of the time, we barely do anything with that free time. So there's a lot of ways that we can get active and use our free time to do something good to help people, to help ourselves. If you're one of those people that has a lot of free time on their hands for the summer and you don't do anything, you don't go to a camp, or you don't have a job or anything, maybe that's something you should look into. If you get a summer job, it doesn't mean you have to lock away your whole summer working. Even if it's just a few days a week, doing something like that, it still keeps you that you have a routine, that you have to be there on time, you have to get dressed, you have to do certain things. It keeps you in a routine like school does. And first, you're also getting money, you're also learning, you're benefiting from it, but it'll just help you stay a little bit more active and more proactive in your days and your free time. Another thing that you can do is exercise. It doesn't have to be intense exercising, but it can be. If you're someone who likes to exercise a lot, to go to the gym every day, to run, to work out, then maybe that's something you should definitely do. Maybe put that into your everyday routine. Since you have more free time, maybe you can make a time that's your gym time every day so you can go. But if you're not one of those people, then maybe you can make a time to go for a walk outside, or to walk your dog, or to walk on the trail, to bike, whatever it may be, doing a little bit of physical activity to keep us healthy. Another thing that can help you stay active, help you do stuff, is to run errands or do chores. I know it may seem boring, but sometimes it can help you get more motivated to do other things. Maybe you start off with washing the dishes, and then like, oh, maybe I want to clean out my closet that's a mess from the school year. Or maybe I still have pants out in front of my shorts, so maybe I switch that around and organize something, or organize the school papers that I had from this year and clean out what's old and prepare some new stuff. And doing simple errands too, if you want to run to the dry cleaner quick. It just gets you out, it gets you some fresh air that could really help your day go better. One thing that we also can do, which is really good to do, although I don't think anyone wants to do it, is your summer reading and your summer homework. I don't know if any of you guys have it, but I know for me at least, for anyone that's going into calculus next year, we have to do a summer packet, which is like 80 questions that we have to do, and it's due on the first day of school. And that's crazy, because whoever thought there would be homework in the summer, but I guess some people invented it. And summer reading, everyone has summer reading, and most of the books we don't ever actually want to read, but we have to push through it, because we know if we don't, then we're going to be in trouble when the test comes around in the first week of school or so. And doing the summer reading and that summer homework they give you, it's not just for no reason. The school doesn't give it to us for no reason. They're not just trying to be cruel as much as we think that. Doing the summer reading and your homework, it keeps your mind active. It keeps you thinking. If you have to write down something over the summer, you don't want to just forget how to write and to read and show up on the first day of school and be like learning how to write again. So we had to keep practicing, keep doing a little bit a day, do something. Even if like these 80 questions, if I just do 2 a night, then I'm refreshing my brain all the time, keeping my brain thinking, but also it's not going to be that painful if I'm only doing 2 questions a night. And summer reading can be painful because the books are never the ones that we want to read. Because, like, I just bought my summer reading books, and one of them I'm already skeptical about because I didn't like the other book I read from that author for summer reading last year. So, I'm already skeptical about that one, but I'm going to have to read it eventually. But another thing we can do is just read our own book, a fun book that we want to read. I'm sure in most towns there's a public library around where you can go, and even if you sit there for the day, if you leave your house, get some fresh air, go to the library, get a book, read there a little bit in a different environment than just sitting in your bedroom all day, that's really good. Even if it's not the summer reading book yet, it's good to keep your mind fresh and thinking. I keep stressing about getting fresh air and getting some sunlight and going outside, but I'd like to explain to you guys the reasoning behind that. What I've researched is that from the sun and the warm weather and being outside, we get lots of vitamin D from the sun rays. And the vitamin D, it's really important because it strengthens your immune system and it plays a key role in cancer prevention, bone strength, metabolism, and it just overall makes you happier. It makes you feel better. If there's some people who have depression, there's actually a light that you can get that's like the sun rays, which is supposed to make you feel happier and feel better because it's giving you that vitamin D. So going outside and getting sunlight and doing stuff like that, it's good for you to just make you happier, make you more motivated to do stuff, and be more proactive with your summer. Fresh air is important because even though it might be so hot, going outside for even a little bit and getting some air, getting some fresh nature air is much better and much more than what we usually get, because think about the winter months when we just stay inside all the time. We're not getting lots of fresh air. And now's the time where we need to go out and appreciate it and take it in, and that'll help our body too. During the summer is the time that we have to get out and go in the sun and enjoy the nature and the stuff around us, because one, we don't have all the responsibilities and stresses about school on top of us. Well, not most of them. And we don't have all of that on top of us, so we're more free. But it's also sunnier and a happier time where we can go out and we can enjoy the weather and do great things. Now, another very important thing that we can do over the summer, and which I'd like to take the rest of the time to talk about, is volunteering and doing community service, and not only going out to help ourselves, but to help other people. It's so important and it's so easy to help other people that sometimes we just take for granted what we have, and we don't see what that other people could take that little skill we have and they could appreciate it so much if we just help them. There are so many ways to get involved, and there's so many easy ways. I'm sure if you look at your public library website or your school website, there's always an opportunity for a community service. And I know most schools you need a community service requirement to graduate. Like for my school, I need 60 hours of community service to graduate. And if you get 300 hours, you get a special certificate. And there's so many ways to get active, and the summer's a great time to knock out those hours if you don't have them already, especially if you're coming upon your senior year where your hours are going to be due when you can't do all 60 hours on the last day. For anyone who wants more details on how to get active and how to be more involved and community service and that type of stuff, there was a previous Kardec Radio for Teens show about that, one of the first ones, so you guys can go and listen to that for more ways. But now I'd like to focus on how the right way per se is to do community service to help others. And I'm getting this message from The Gospel According to Spiritism for Young Adults and Beginners, which is interpretation from The Gospel According to Spiritism from Allan Kardec. And this chapter, chapter 13, it's called Do Not Let Your Left Hand Know What Your Right Hand is Doing. So what does that mean? What does it mean, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing? We're all connected in our body. We all, of course, know what our left hand is doing or our right hand is doing. But that's not exactly what he meant, and let's go through this so that we can figure that out and see what he truly meant. So how this works is that there's two paragraphs, and one is from Actually, they're both from Matthew, from different chapters of the Bible, and basically they're explaining in their own way what Jesus told them, because they were there personally experiencing what Jesus was saying, and this is their interpretation, their writing down of what he said. Do good without ostentation. So you may be wondering, first off, what ostentation means, because I was wondering that too when I first read it. But it means to, when you're intending to do something just to impress or to let people notice you. So it's saying to do good without trying to impress other people. So the first paragraph goes, Be careful not to do your acts of righteousness before men to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by men. I tell you the truth, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Matthew chapter 6. When he came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. I am willing, he said, be clean. Immediately he was cured of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, See that you don't tell anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer the gift Moses has commanded, as a testimony to them. Matthew chapter 8. So that was a lot to take in. Let's take a moment and break it up into pieces and go through what each piece was truly saying. So the first part about saying that the hypocrites do that, and they use the direct quote, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That is saying that when you're doing good but with ostentation of you're just trying to impress people, you're just trying to show people like, wow, I can help someone, and so everyone knows it, you're not really doing all the good that you can, because you just want to be rewarded now. But when you do stuff, sometimes not in secret, but maybe you help someone but you didn't share it at all, or no one saw it. Maybe you helped an old lady cross the road, but you didn't tell anyone and no one saw it and it wasn't a big deal to you. But those things are the things that God sees, and that afterwards will be rewarded because he takes note of those things. But when we're just trying to impress other people and just showing off, we're not impressing God, the one who truly matters. These person who do good but for ostentation, to show that they're better, that to show off, to show that they're cool, that whatever, that they're the best, those are the people that it shows that they care more about what's happening now than what's spiritually around and the afterlife and stuff like that, as in God. Who we really want to show off to is God. We don't want to show off to that person that we're going to see once and then never again. And showing off to God isn't like showing off to people here. We're not bragging. We're just doing what God wants. We're showing him that we understand what he wants and we're spreading that and we're doing the good. Not for anyone else to feel good, not, well, for the other person that we're helping, of course, to feel good, but not for the crowds watching to feel good about themselves, but just for ourselves and whoever we're helping to feel good. So what does that main quote really mean? Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So if you think about it like this, your left hand, let's say your left hand is doing something good. Your left hand is writing down the piece of paper, writing an essay. Your left hand is doing something good. But it's saying, don't go bragging to your right hand about what they're doing. Keep your right hand hidden. You don't have to show your right hand what your left hand is doing. You don't have to tell him what's going on. Because I know for me, I'm left-handed. So my left hand can write, and it's going to be showing off to my right hand, who can't write with a pencil, barely better than a kindergartner. So my left hand, we don't want my left hand to be showing off to my right hand. It's just doing the good without searching for any reward. And when you think about it, so my left hand is writing, and my right hand, it doesn't know what's going on, it's just there. But what truly matters is the end, which, like, for the left hand and right hand example, it would be the essay that's produced that the teacher is going to grade. But in real life, it's saying that you doing good, it's not about the people who are surrounding you, the right hand who is not really doing anything, just watching you, but it's about the end. It's about what you're showing God and how you're proving to God that you're doing what he wants. So this message is really showing us that when we're doing good things, if in your summer, when you volunteer, when you do some community service, whatever it may be, you're not doing it to show off. You're not doing it to prove to someone else that you could, but you're doing it because it's good, because you know it's the right thing, because it's helping you, it's helping that person, and because God is watching and he's going to see what you're truly doing out of the goodness of your heart. Another point that I like to bring up about volunteering is that a lot of people, a lot of charity groups or whatever it may be, or charity actions, many of these actions, they only happen because of a great disaster that happened, so all of a sudden everyone feels compelled to help, and which is a good thing. We should help. If there's an earthquake somewhere or whatever it may be, we should help, but that doesn't mean that we should only wait for those moments to help. We should start now. We can help. There's earthquake relief everywhere. People who suffered an earthquake 5 years ago are still facing parts of the aftermath, and a lot of different natural disasters or even wartime disasters, it doesn't just vanish. People still need help, and these efforts can still be made now during our summer, during whenever we have time. It doesn't just have to be the minute that the disaster happens and then it's forgotten about in a few months. We can always do good all the time. Something doesn't have to happen for us to try and do good. We can always do good. And we don't only have to help these big natural disasters or wartime disasters or whatever it may be. We don't always have to just help those. We can help little things. We can help the old lady in the senior center who just wants to talk to someone, or the help at the soup kitchen for the people who don't have food, who are just trying to get a decent meal for their family. There's so many ways that we can help that we're not trying to publicize and to impress anyone. We're just doing it out of the good of our hearts, and not that it's a big problem that just happened, but little things that we can help people can go a long way. And the most important part this summer, when you're thinking about doing something, whatever it may be, think about the impact on yourself. Think about what you're going to learn from it, what you're going to experience. Think about how it's going to affect you, and think about if it's going to be positive or negative. And hopefully everything that we do this summer, we do something positive. And we can have fun. We can go hiking and we can experience the exercise and the adrenaline from that if that's what we want. Or we can go to the beach and experience the sun and the water. And we can still have fun. It's not that we can't have fun, but we should make sure that everything we do this summer, we're able to look around and appreciate what we have and to find a value in it, to find a purpose, a good purpose, to show us that there's a reason for all that we're experiencing and that all that we're learning, and try and learn something from everything we do, because there's always something to be learned. I'd like to end off with one last message from the book, The Bible, 50 Ways It Can Change Your Life. Be unstoppable. What does it take to stop you? What is the kryptonite to your Superman? What, besides death, could haul you forward momentum in this world? Knowing the answer to this question could mean the difference between a life well lived and one spent wondering what might have been. The Apostle Paul understood the importance of endurance. You can almost hear the pleading encouragement in his words to the Gallant church. Don't get tired of helping others. You will be rewarded when the time is right if you don't give up. In order to live well, you need to be unstoppable in helping others. You will get tired. You might even want to quit at times and only focus on your own needs. Be aware of your vulnerabilities and figure out how to keep your involvement fresh and interesting. A little preventive maintenance now will go a long way towards keeping you viable later. Caring for the needs of others can be demanding, but it can also be immensely rewarding, both now and for eternity. So keep in mind that for our summer, that even though we might want to do nothing and just lay down, that there's really a lot of benefits from getting up and staying active, going outside, doing something, helping other people, because Jesus, He gave us, and God, He gave us the strength to do everything that we need to do, to help people, to do the good. And that's what they want us to do. And not to just impress someone else or say, oh yeah, I did this over my summer, but to truly do the good for yourself and to show God that you're spreading His word, His love, and helping others. This has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening.